All right, it looks like we are connecting and we are heading into the live moment of live, coming live, okay? Just shuffling the cards up. I had a little bit of a break there. We're back again. This is live right now. New Zealand evening time, very late in the United States West Coast, probably early morning. Let me have a look, like 1 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast USA. So there you go. I don't know if anyone's actually going to show up here for this, but anyway, it is live. This is like what it would normally be like a few weeks ago when we were doing Sunday Night Live from California at the late part of the show. So if there's anyone here at all, I'll be surprised, but thank you for showing up. Anyway, I'm just clearing the deck. The cards are already well shuffled in advance, but I like to go to the last second so that you're a witness. Before we even get even close to the reading, I need to go through some basic stuff with you guys, okay? So, Amethystin. Yeah, Amethystin. Hey, greetings. So, Amethystin, thank you for being there. I can see you on the chat. What's going to happen is this is a live stream recording for the Aries report, March 2019 for love and relationship, okay? And we're doing it this way because it's the only way that I can record anything and upload it. I can't use the normal stuff that I do when I'm in Los Angeles through my superpower internet. We're working on a very, very thin system here. So this seems to work. So we're just going to keep going. Good morning, Amethystin. Thank you for being here. I want to get through some basics. First of all, this is the tarot. This is tarot Lumination. We also do a little bit of astrology, as you know, but the thing is, it became so complex, it was too much to put it all in one report, so we have a separate playlist for the Astro Doodles, okay? It's a completely separate playlist, so help yourself. You can go to the channel, you look through the playlists. It should be right there for March Astro Doodles, okay? The next thing is, regarding personal readings, if anyone who needs that, check out the links below. There you can find a button where to do that, okay? Next, regarding membership, this is really, really important, okay, everybody? Thank you so much for watching this. Check the links below. Long-term health and growth and evolution of tarot Lumination is very much associated with membership, okay? For the people who truly love what we're doing here and the hows and whys. And rather than spend ages explaining it here, it's easier if you just check the link and read the stuff when you get there, okay? Next, if you want to donate, there's the super chat right now, but you can also check the links if you want to go directly to the tarotlumination.com donation button. There you go. So that's that, okay? We'll come back to this later. Okay. Next. Come to this in a moment. Pumpkin. Hey, Pumpkin, what's going on? I see you there on the chat. So this is for Aries. I'm not going to spend any time with this. Sorry, that is a spill. This is the Aries Tarot Lumination Astro Doodle for March. So please watch the other playlists for this stuff. You've already probably noticed a very important highlight here, the full moon towards the end of March. So that's very important for you, Aries. Meanwhile, there's other stuff here we could talk about, but I'm not going to dwell on it right now. The Pisces new moon, all those things. We're going to go straight into your tarot reading. Remember, this is kind of a generic thing. Please watch for your sun, moon, and rising. If you want to get deep into it and you want to go personal, just, you know, book a reading and all that. But for right now, this is kind of generic, and it's like watching a little movie, okay? So when Tarot Lumination does this, it's like the cards unfold, we watch a little movie, and Tarot Lumination is doing the narration, doing the subtitles for you. Hopefully it will have some relevance, okay? Also, guys, if you want to cross-watch for a significant other. Also for singles, I know some of you like to watch these anyway, even if you're single, even though this is actually about relationship, Please understand that even when you're single, you're still radiating and transmitting and receiving energy, including the energy of relationship. So if you want to, you can apply the laws of attraction. So what are you sending out there into the universe, and then what is being reflected back to you? In which case, the other could be considered what if. All right? So let's get to it. Here is an illustration of the Tarot Lumination relationship spread. I call it a crucible spread because in relationships in general, they tend to be very, very profound environments in which intense alchemical reactions happen at the spiritual, physical, emotional, psychological plane, okay? Just like in a laboratory, a crucible is a bowl-shaped structure, usually ceramic, that is designed to withstand intense alchemical pressures in a laboratory. And it's the same thing with human relationships. Human relationships can be extremely challenging and can be observed almost like a laboratory where stuff happens. So when we do the spread, these are the cards, okay? There's you, there's the other, deep inside of you, deep inside of the other, and then we have a third entity. It's a completely separate thing. It has its own energy, life, mission, energy, and purpose. It's called the relationship. And you guys need to know that. If you're operating like this, based on hormones and your reptilian brain and conditioning from childhood, then good luck. Seriously, good luck with that. Because this is what's actually going on. And once you figure that out and understand that, then you have a much greater chance of having a healthier, happier relationship with yourself and with another. You can't have a happy, loving relationship with another until you have that sorted out with yourself first, okay? So please see this whole crucible as a chance, an opportunity for you to become more whole with yourself, thanks to another, no matter how painful that might be. Let's have a look. Also, by the way, over here, this is the external energy. Think of this as the weather. The relationship itself is radiating and transmitting and receiving energy, just like you, just like the other. This is a living thing. So what is it? What is the nature of this thing? What is it that is fermenting here? What are you guys growing? Think of it as a business, as a plant, as a little garden. What is blossoming here? You own this, okay? This is not a couples reading. It's all about you, Aries. All right, let's go. Let's just go for it. Hey, Marianne Rajani. Hi, greetings. Yeah, this is a live recording for the Aries Love and Relationship Report for March 2019, okay? Thank you, Mary Rajani. So you might as well just sit back and observe, because there's not really much interaction that's going to happen with Tarot Lumination and you guys in the chat. I know there's only a few of you, but that's okay. The thing is, I have to do this live anyway, so there's no way out of it. So you might as well just chill if you want to. If you happen to be an Aries, then this might be kind of convenient for you. Also, by the way, as soon as this report is over, I'm going to lock it down, put it back into private until tomorrow night when we finish all the reports, and then we're going to collate everything and put it into a playlist of 12 reports for all signs. Then it's going to be published, okay? So please be patient. We're getting very, very close now. Thank you so, so much, dear Aries. This is for you. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. I'm shuffling to the very last second, even though we shuffled well in advance, okay? There we go. Bless this deck. Bless every single card in this deck, okay? Here we go. Hey, big dog. Yes, it just started. We're going to cut it up. Bless every single card. Bless you, all the Aries. Bless you guys here tonight for hanging out and making this real and making this live. Bless Tarot Lumination. Bless the channel. Bless the lighting, the staging, the cameras, the electricity, the internet, YouTube, all of it that allows us to do this at all and have this family connection that we have. I love you guys. I love doing this for you. I'm glad you are here with Tarot Lumination. Here is your energy, Aries. What are you radiating, okay? single or coupled? What are you radiating? Over here, what about the other or the potential other? Deep inside of you, deep inside the other, then to the core, the relationship itself. Can you see the crucible here? This is the crucible, okay? This is the structure. This is the entity in which you guys exist, okay? And what is being fermented here, okay? And then outwardly, just like we showed on the diagram, the illustration, what is the weather like, okay? That's out there. Think of it as the planets, your environment, your upbringing, whatever that is. You have the Seven of Pentacles. So in a love relationship, I see pentacles as tokens of love. Very, very, very valuable tokens of love. So with the Seven of Pentacles, there's an understanding, like there's the elements of failure, everything that's not working, and then there's the element of value. So think of this just like the energy of a farmer figuring out, what on earth am I supposed to do now? What am I going to do now? I have all the assets, the talents, the gifts, the resources. I have this much love. I have this much value in my love and my relationship with myself, my significant other, my other with me, me with my other, and so on. However, a big B-U-T, a big but, this, all the other stuff is the outgrowth, the weeds, the contamination, everything that is out of control in the relationship that needs to be understood in terms of, like, think of it just literally just like a farmer having to stay on top of things, having to stay on top of highly volatile, unpredictable things like the weather, the rain, the wind, the sun, the seasons, the time of the year, the moons, the high tides, the low tides, all of that stuff. A farmer has to take all that stuff into account. And it's just like you, Aries, in a relationship, there is so much more going on than you may be aware. And in order to have a healthy, loving relationship, we need to be aware of everything that's good, all the talents and gifts and resources that you have, and anything and everything that needs, like weeding, maintenance, fertilization, irrigation, nurture, all the things that require investment. That means putting time and work and money into the relationship in order just to keep it alive, let alone grow, okay? A lot of people don't understand that. Once they get hooked up, they think, oh, wow, this is amazing, wow. And then very shortly, so they start thinking, oh, we can just switch to autopilot. That's actually a recipe for disaster, okay, Aries? Because what happens is you're basically like driving a car thinking, oh, I got gas, I got oil, whatever, and just go. But if you don't do the maintenance, this is a card that's very deeply associated with maintenance. And I think that's going to be very relevant for you, Aries, regarding the Pisces new moon, okay? Sun and moon aligned along with Neptune, along with Mercury retrograde in Pisces. That's a huge cluster of Pisces in your 12th house of self-undoing, okay? Your house of self-sabotage, your house of hidden enemies, your house of lack of awareness of where all the problems lie. And I think during this month, when you go through the Pisces section and then eventually into the Aries section, you will notice a difference and you'll start to realize, like, oh my gosh, there is so much CRAP that needs to clean up. And welcome to Mercury retrograde in your 12th house, okay? So please see this as a really, really important message, that you have ingredients that have value, but you also have a lot of issues around you that are to do with, like, all the stuff that's not working, that's piled up, that's been neglected, or how things go moldy, rotten, obscured, overgrown, unpruned, undetected, unmanageable. Let's have a look. What are you radiating here? Okay, with the Page of Wands. Never fear. Never fear. Aries is here. Kerblam, kerblam, kerblam. To me, this is good news. I'm really happy for you. I think this is very much to do with the end of the month, when the sun actually moves into Aries, and then you are kind of in superpower mode. and then you can get back in charge. Sometimes over the yearly cycle for all of us, when the sun goes through your 12th house, it can be a really miserable experience. So you're going to get some of that at the beginning of the month. But eventually, sun switches to Aries, and then you get back to, yeah, Aries, power time. Yeah, me. It's all about me now. I can get back to me living my life. Thank you very, very much. And I accept and I understand that I don't know everything all the time, every day. I accept that I am an amazing Aries, and I'm always set up and ready for the next adventure. So bring it on. I'm going for it. I'm up for it. I don't exactly know what it means or where it's going to go or how it's going to play out, but I'm on board. I am on board for me, for my new astrological birth, my astrological birthday coming up soon. What about the other? Okay, with the Five of Swords here, my feeling is that Aries, you're going to discover very soon that you're relating in a situation where there's a lot of what I would say game playing, even if it's very, very subtle. Like a lot of times people don't want to admit that they're in a sort of a tit for tat situation, some kind of a, like having to constantly maintain and prove that they are right all the time, no matter what, which is actually an indication that they're terrified that they're wrong many, many times, and then they have to kind of force and prove their righteousness. And that's a big problem, because for you, Aries, it looks to me like you just want to be you. I just want to be Aries. I just want to have my chance to be me. I just want to figure out what I have to figure out that's not working. I want to capitalize on what is working and make the best of it, okay? I am sweet, I am innocent, I have my best of intentions, and I don't mean any harm to myself, my other, our relationship, or anybody else. And yet, you, Aries, are in a situation with a significant other where they might have a problem with all of this or any of this. They might feel, to me, almost like threatened. My feeling is that they feel threatened to the point where they have to lash out, where they have to prove that they are right, even if they're not. It's like a defense behavior, like a self-defense. Like some people, when they get boxed in or trapped, they start acting out in such a way that, like, oh, you're trying to screw me over, aren't you? I can tell. I already know. I can tell. I can see all the signs. And then I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make sure that I'm not screwed over. So I'm going to screw you over before you screw me over. Ha, 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 ha. And of course, that's just a recipe for disaster. That means that's like a lose-lose. That's like lose-lose energy. And it makes it actually very difficult for you to do what you have to do, be what you have to be, and how you have to be in order for things to work. Because it's extremely hard to relate with someone who, even at the most subtle levels, is like looking for ways to justify their own behavior, even if their own behavior is not justifiable. I hope that makes sense. Let's have a look deep down inside of you. Oh. Okay, so I saw the little Six of Cups here, and I'll give you my first response. When I saw this, I kept thinking, like, Aries, you're looking at yourself in the mirror and going like, oh my gosh, I should have known. I should have known when I got set up in this relationship thing, and I could tell it has all these hallmarks, twin flames, soulmates. We've done this before. I recognize you from the past life. I've loved you before. You've loved me before. I love you. You love me. But there's an awful lot of stuff that's not working right now. And then you kind of go like an Aries person, like, it's almost like, damn it. This is what happens in soulmate relationships. I should have known that. I should have prepared for that. Why didn't I know all this beforehand? Ugh. Okay, so with the Six of Cups here, the sweetness of it is that it's permeated and infused with love. So it's almost as though you, Aries, are having to deal with a significant other at the soulmate level and having to accommodate them at the soulmate level with love, even though in your day-to-day life you would almost, it's almost like I don't know who you think you are. You're just being intolerable. It's like unworkable. Like whatever I say, whatever I do, you're going to contradict and counteract and counterplay in such a way that you're always right. Even though I'm right. I'm Aries. I'm always right. And yet now you're having to prove that you're right. It's just like this is a lose-lose situation. Like, I told you so. You're the living example. You're always trying to prove that you're right. And now I have to defend myself against you by claiming and proving that I am right. I am always right. Can't you see, my dear, that this is a lose-lose argument? Well, now you're seeing what it's like to be at the receiving end of a lose-lose situation. Duh! And then you kind of go, oh my God. Does that mean we're soulmates and that we're just dealing with our unresolved soulmate issues? And then Tarot Lumination says, yeah, that's probably what's going on here. Ouch. Okay. What about deep inside of the other? Okay, look, Queen of Wands. So with the Queen of Wands here, deep inside of the other, it looks to, for me, sorry, from the Tarot Lumination perspective, it looks to me like, Aries, you're kind of in one of these situations, like, because deep down inside, Aries, my feeling is you're dealing with someone who is not going to concede. They're not going to give up their awesomeness, their magnificence, their willingness to get down in the dirt and fight. To do what has to be done to maintain their integrity. Okay, I think the Queen of Wands energy here is very much about rolling your sleeves up. Okay, you wanna hustle? Like, you wanna hustle, Aries? You wanna hustle, my dear loved one, my dear so-and-so? Well, please understand that I am not going to concede in any way, shape, or form. So if you have a point to prove, if you have something that you want to say, if you insist on being who you are right now without evolving, then please understand that I'm not going to give you any chance or wiggle room, okay? And then you kind of go, oh, wait a minute. In my naivety and my innocence, I wasn't expecting this. Okay, well, now you're getting it. I am not backing down. I'm not going to back off. I have my own awesomeness to consider, and I know you do. And then it's just like, you go back to you, Aries, just like, it's almost like, damn it. It's almost like, damn it, why are these soulmate relationships so challenging? I love you, you love me, we've loved each other before, you've loved me before, I've loved you before, but what the bleep is happening right now at the soulmate level that is causing this issue here where all the muck about what is not working is coming to the surface for us to have to figure it out and deal with it. Damn it. It's just like, well, I'm not going to say I told you so, but it was inevitable, wasn't it, darling? And then you're left, dear Aries, with like, oh, it's not fair. It's not fair. On the other hand, if that's what is, then that's what is. What about the relationship itself? Okay, so my feeling here with the Seven of Cups is that for you, Aries, especially I think in the early part of the month, you're left in a position of figuring out like, oh no, what did I ever think what I was doing getting into this relationship? I thought soulmate relationships where you felt that deep innate bond with somebody, where you think, oh, I've known you before, we've loved before, we've done everything together before, and then you realize you've almost like slipped in the mud. And just what often happens in soulmate relationships, where it's like a continuation from a past life, and you're dealing with it now in order to continue with a so-called future life. But in the moment, in the here and the right now, what you're dealing with is something that is actually in some ways very disorienting for you, Aries, where you get in a situation almost like where you've slipped up in the mud, and the relationship has all the hallmarks of, like, you know, just imagine like your relationship is a business and you're a farmer, and just simply out of pure innocence and lack of awareness and lack of evolution, you didn't realize there is so much work that has to go into a relationship just to keep the good stuff good and wholesome and alive. Like all the other stuff that's out there, like weeds, contamination, bugs, bad weather, drought, too much rain, too much water, whatever it is, those are very serious issues. You can't just dive into a relationship just because you had a really good night out and you had the most amazing, most passionate night together, and that means, you know, lovey-dovey-dovey forever. No, that's just like a biological trigger to get people to hook up, to kind of make babies. But there's so much more that goes on beyond that. My feeling is that you, in your innocence, Aries, no matter how mature you might be, biologically, physically, spiritually, financially, in this little reading here, there is a discovery about your own innocence, your own lack of awareness about how actually complicated and how much work it actually is to do the maintenance, the repairs, the ongoing investments and chores and obligations and duties that come with relationship in order just to keep it stable. And because that's not what's happening, you end up in a situation like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? Like mixed signals here. The relationship is full of all sorts of, I think this is very much to do with the Pisces new moon. And I think that eventually this will make a lot more sense, much more towards the end of the month, where early on you're at the very last stages of almost delirium, the sheer delirium of having lived through a one-year cycle of you and the relationship with another, coming to the next point going forward, and then you realize, okay, this is tripping me out. This is tripping me out. Our relationship is tripping me out. You're tripping me out. I'm tripping me out. Our relationship's tripping me out. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Let's have a look what's happening. Okay. So you reach kind of an end point. And I'm very actually relieved to see this with the Ten of Swords here. To me, this is like an affirmation of the end of all the crap that goes on, that has been going on. Very much associated with the homework that, let's just say this is you, Aries, and you come to this realization. It might be very grim, unpleasant, very unwelcome, that, you know what? Anything and everything that's gone wrong, that is going wrong, or that can possibly go wrong down the road is something that needs to be acknowledged. And the only way to stop that from happening is to examine this stuff, get into it, and do the cleanup campaign. Well, welcome back to the Pisces new moon. Okay, I'm going to go to the chart here very, very briefly. I'm not going to dwell on this, but this is where a lot of the really challenging stuff is happening for you right now. But when you get towards the end of the month and you have that full moon, at least you're going to have a stark blazing awakening of what's actually going on in the relationship, and then you can have a better chance of figuring out what to do and how to do it, how to repair, because you've reached the end point of pain and suffering. It can't get any worse than how it is right now. So the only way forward from here is upwards, outwards. So it's like back to basics. You can't take it anymore. They can't take it anymore. The relationship can't take it anymore. So the only way out here is through. You have to accept that you and your relationship and the significant other have reached the like a break point where it's like everything, it's almost like a house falling apart, or like a business or a day job or a party that's over. Everything was going okay, and then everything just finally just demolishes and gets crushed because you just can't keep like partying forever. You can't keep working forever. You can't keep having certain things just go on forever without doing the repairs and maintenance. Eventually everything just collapses and falls to pieces. However, when you do the repairs and maintenance, then you can see all of this as something that's tolerable. In other words, you get to realize the 1,001 different ways that you have self-sabotaged yourself, how you have allowed the other to self-sabotage you, how you guys together have sabotaged your relationship, all of it. You get to see anything and everything that doesn't work or didn't work or never will work, and then you realize, actually, that's kind of useful information. It's actually very important to know what doesn't work and why it doesn't work, when with whom it doesn't work, so that you don't get into that kind of jam again, and then you become much more sophisticated down the road when you're doing repairs and maintenance, as all relationships demand. All relationships demand repairs and maintenance, lots and lots of continuous work and investment. Not everybody wants to do that. Most people, all they want are the benefits of the relationship, but they don't want to invest. They don't want the work. It's just like mining, strip mining. What can I get out of you? 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 That's a guaranteed recipe for disaster. So my feeling is that in your own way, Aries, you're seeing a very complex exposure of your own recipes for disaster in multiple different ways, and how you have done such a good job of making that happen. And the only way you can fix it is by doing the work. In other words, you might have become an expert, they might have become an expert of like fudging things over, plastering things over, faking it till you make it, putting things off, burying things, anything to avoid repairs and maintenance. Because doing repairs and maintenance is boring on first impression. They think, oh God, I don't want to do that. But the reality is, when you do constant repairs and maintenance, when you do your cleanup campaign, every time you guys screw up in a relationship, if you take care of the mess right then and there, then you don't end up with this or this or this. You realize, wow, it's so much better. Just think of it like when you run a kitchen or something. You know, if you just keep piling up dirty dishes on top of dirty dishes, eventually everything turns up into a disgusting mess. However, if you do the work, like, and you think of the relationship like a kitchen scenario, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to feast here, we're going to do that, and then you clean up each little bit and piece as you go along, then you always have a good, solid, pristine framework in which the relationship can continue instead of this. So overall, what I'm sensing is that you, Aries, and your relationship, you're witnessing anything and everything that is like very, very deeply buried, that is just moldy, rotten, putrid, unresolved, unhealed, just like pretend you just bought a restaurant or something like that, and you're going to make it all happen, and then you start going around and you realize, oh my God, the previous owners, like, they didn't clean out the stove filters, the refrigeration filters, the plumbing, everything's gooped up and messed up because of the past. The past, okay? And it doesn't look like either of you are willing to just completely abandon everything. So you end up in a situation, well, what do we do now? Well, what do you do now is you basically realize there's a huge amount a very, very tedious cleanup, restoration, recycling, repurposing, new paint job, restructuring, new foundations, like a real fix-up, total remodeling campaign. Instead of like in a long-term healthy relationship, you would do that incrementally, bit by bit, long term as you go. But in this situation, this is the accumulation of anything and everything that you didn't take care of before. So you have to do it all at once, like a complete remodel campaign. Okay? It's just a question of doing the work, the cleanup, okay? So don't get too stressed. It's not the end of the world, all right? Thank you, Aries. I'm going to leave it at that. You can reinterpret however you want. Please watch for your sun, moon, and rising. Please check out the Astrodoodle playlist. This might make a lot more sense when you layer it up and get the extra texture, things like that. Thank you so much, Aries. I'm sorry I couldn't check out and hang out with everybody. Hello, Amethysten. Hello, Leanne. Hello, Pumpkin. Hello, Mona. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Hey, Mary Rajani. Yeah, I got you there. Let me just check. There's a couple of others, and so just checking, just checking in. Loyal Bogard. Okay, thank you. Hello, Loyal Bogard. Big Dog. I recognize you. You've been here before. Anyway, let's get going, folks. That's the end of this little video. It's going to be posted probably by late tomorrow night for everybody, okay? I'm going to shut this down now, and momentarily this will be set into private mode so no one else will see it, and then by tomorrow night we'll have all the earth signs finished and we'll process everything and you'll have everything for March. Okay, bye bye everybody. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure as usual. Let me just say good night and bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.